It is Mod Day, the last Wednesday of the month, the day where we pay back the moderators for all of the wonderful work they do on the channel, because truly, this channel could not work without the support of kind people that have chosen to volunteer their time and the goodness of their hearts to help me do this thing. Guys, today we are going to be honoring a stream friend, Rooski, for years now. It's crazy to think that there are, Rooskis for years now, but Chaotic Old Boar, a guy that has been around for a long time. His album Redemption was Pearl Jam's album 10. When it comes to Pearl Jam, I only know the hits and the fact that Eddie Vedder has one of the gnarliest stage dives, if not the gnarliest stage dive I have ever seen. Also, I think Just Breathe is fantastic. I started truly. I'd only ever really heard the hits. Like I said, I heard Miley Cyrus a few years ago cover Just Breathe, and it made me think like maybe I should listen to Pearl Jam. And I saw them do a cover of The Who's Love, Rain Over Me, which I was like, wow, Eddie Vedder's got some pipes. But truly, besides that, have not dug in. So the album 10 is largely, again, unexperienced, unfamiliar territory. I don't know if I know any of these songs. I think Even Flow is the song I know. Even Flow, I think. Now, Chaotic Old Boar typed something for me. Okay, well, I want you to imagine something for me. Imagine you hear a song on the radio and everything about the song speaks to you. You've never heard the artist before and it fully piques your interest. So you go into the record store, pick up the album, and turn it over to see the track listing. What would you think if you saw your name, Walter, was the title of one of the songs? This was my exact feeling when I saw Jeremy, a slight dox of myself. I bought the album and was not disappointed. That's just, it's really cool the way music works in one's life. And this is certainly a sentimental album to the homie Chaotic Old Boar. So everybody throw W's in the chat for Chaotic Old Boar. A dude that has literally been around since before I was a YouTube partner, a guy that has truly been around for a hot minute. Big W's. A guy literally watched me go through some crazy ups and downs in my life, stuck around the whole time, watched me kind of get my life together, still felt like it was worth it after going through the weird parts. I'm very happy to be doing this one for the homie Chaotic Old Boar. Again, this album came out August 27 of 1991. I was born July 29 of 1991, so not even a full month after my birth. I barely predate the release of this record. So, let's see what was happening in 1991 when I was, pretty fresh bun out of the oven. This is 10 by Pearl Jam, opening up with Once. Guys, have you heard this album before? Before I hit the play button, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Twitch. These people over here are absolutely the best people. Come hang out with us. Come discover music with us. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time, and we would love to have you by. Guys, without further ado, my first venture into Pearl Jam. Interesting subtext before I hit play. One of my close friends that ran cross country with me and in track with me in high school, JD, his favorite band was Pearl Jam, and he had a Pearl Jam t-shirt that he wore pretty regularly. And our cross country coach looked at him one day and said, "Pearl Jam, is that good on biscuits?" And we all died laughing. And anyway, so shout out to JD, shout out to Coach Cohenauer, and rest in peace to Coach Cohenauer. Here we go. Once. This lead into the first track is part of a hidden track that also closes the album. And if you play the album on loop, it's a perfect loop. Okay, the hidden track is called Master Slave. Okay, I've got it on repeat. Cool. Here it is. Seems like a bunch of people have heard this one. Anybody listening to it for the first time? Listen to the panning of his vocals already. Ooh, listen to the swell there. Boar, which song was it that you heard on the radio from this album? Oh. That really transitioned out of that ethereal beginning. Alive, the first single. Got it. I love personal context. Going from this, the crazy guitar starting, and then this. Excuse me. He really growls. The once when he comes in here, once upon a time, I could control myself. Once upon a time, I could lose myself. Yeah, like the way he just hits it so hard here is gnarly. Yeah. Oh, try and mimic. Sorry if I'm butchering Eddie Vedder. I am mimic. Where do I stand? It is summer and I hate the heat. I got a backseat lover on the passenger seat. I got my hand in my pocket so determined to squeeze. I pray. I got a backseat lover on the passenger seat. I got a hand in my pocket, so determined, discreet. This really does feel like our guy's kind of feeling like he's losing control, but it's like, I think it's more a comment on his willpower or his personal constitution than it is like his life. And actually, maybe it's both. Eddie Vedder. Who is the quintessential voice of the 90s? Is it Eddie Vedder? Is it Chris Cornell? Who is it? Whose voice defined the 90s? Kurt's affair. Discuss amongst yourselves. Listen to that. Yo, Mickey the Mousey, welcome back. The clean tone there on the left ear. I want to go back a little bit because you got the clean tone lead on the left ear while the rhythm is happening over here on the right. The way he just gets it. I can't help but have a lot of respect for Eddie Vedder, especially after hearing that. Like, when I think about how much my voice would be just destroyed if I went for it. But then, you know, he has these, I'm seeing people in the chat call them Vedderisms, right? Like, those only Eddie Vedder moments happen. Like the, yeah, like the, yeah, you know, or whatever it is that he does. Like, those random things only work for him. Oh, like, he really, the way he goes from the roar to making those like kind of transitionary vocal noises, it feels like that's kind of where the longevity of his voice comes from, because he's not all out there just oncing. He's not like, what? He's not doing that with his voice every single phrase, right? Like, he kind of it's almost a masterful approach when you think about it. Like, he gives himself moments where he's not just crunching his voice. He doesn't make himself a one-trick pony by having that crunch. And even when he roars, so much of what he's doing, I think, is like kind of geared at saving his throat and not just gassing his voice. I can only imagine that when you push your voice as hard as he does, you lose your voice often. So you have to find a way to be able to really, like, blow your chords out without really blowing them out. And seeing how active that dude was on stage, like, you know, jumping a solid 20 feet into a crowd of 6-foot people with their arms upwards just to be ripped apart and jump back on stage and run laps around it, like, all while singing, big impressed. Like that roar, man. It just mega. So this is the one I think I'm probably familiar with. But I've never listened critically. I've only ever heard this song on the radio. And again, it's not one I've ever actively paid attention to. It's just one where, like, it's probably the song I know of that gives me my point of reference for what Eddie Vedder's voice sounds like without me knowing anything about it. It's like the song that you hear, you're like, oh, that's what Eddie Vedder sounds like. I'll know his voice again for the rest of my life. Cool. And that's kind of how it is. I don't know anything about what the lyrics mean. One little tasty bit I just noticed. I'm going to hit play again. Listen to this guitar slide down from the left, or from the right to the left ear, almost as if you're hearing his hand like go through your head where the fretboard happens to be. Nice little pop in there. lot of wah guitars happen. Yeah, I know this one for sure. But again, never listen critically. This is certainly not what I thought he said. Like, even though good thoughts arrive like butterflies, he doesn't know, so he chases them away. That's actually a really interesting concept. I never would have understood those words on the radio. Happening in the back. Looking through the paper, though he doesn't know to read. Oh, praying out to something that has never showed him it almost sounded like a reverse reverb sound on, or like they reversed his voice for a moment as he was yelling, that kind of thing as he went into that. But also the amount of wah pedal used on both guitar players' guitars. Great tones. The legal halls of shame. There's an element of escapism to these lyrics that, again, I just didn't hear through. Like, and without the lyrics, I feel like in the era where you bought a CD or a tape and you listened to the song and you like read the liners and you got the lyrics that way, it was easier to connect with music. And now a lot of times music is kind of just soft serve, and like you don't have the lyrics, you're not considering them nearly as much as you go through it, so it doesn't feel like it's as big a deal, you know what I mean? But I feel like when you have the lyrics to this song, you see these incredibly delicate lyrics to this incredibly tough music, and therein lies the contrast, you know what I mean? You have this delicate thing juxtaposed with this really aggressive, tight, tough thing. And that comment, it creates a like kind of a chaotic picture of sound that really relates. What's up, Bradley? Welcome to the Rooskies, homie. Bob Dylan is coming soon. That's all I'm going to say for now. Digging the solo. This song reminds me of my uncle's garage. The garage. That's where I'm talking about that reverse reverb, that reverse vocal thing. Listen to the very end of Away, in between Away and Oh Someday. Right there. Does anybody know what that noise was? I love it. It feels like it has to be them playing his voice in reverse as he's shouting. So I gotta ask, this clearly seems to have been the biggest song on the album. For those of you that are intimately familiar with this album, for those of you that have heard this album, is that the best song on the album? Or is that the hook to get people to hear the deep tracks, which are better? What is the best song on the album to you? Because very often I have found that as I dig in, the single isn't that often the best song. I like the tone there. I'm still alive. This is that song, right? This is an autobiographical song for Vedder. Did he find out his dad wasn't his real dad at 13 years of age and then finding out that, like, his actual dad was dying? Is that what happened? What the frick do you do with that news? I guess, yeah.
While she walks slow across a young man's room, she said, I'm ready for you. Why?
It is a clean bass tone, man. It's slightly modulated when you hear this slide up. You know, it's almost got like a nice little chorus kind of thing going on, which I think is very characteristic for the 90s bass sound. But it really does sing true, and I like that it's more of a vibey bass than it is just a conventional rock bass. It's super nice.
I can't remember anything to this very day except the love
So can somebody give me more context than the context I have? Like, piece together for me more of the story such as we know it in the public about what this song actually was written about? Because I'm over here brain melted right now thinking about Eddie Vedder's mom telling him about his dad in that context.
Is something wrong, she said. Of course there is. You're still alive, she said. Or do I deserve to be? Is that the question? And if so, who answers?
This is really existential crush. This song is so much more existentially crushing than I realized it to have been. I really thought this was kind of a 90s cheese song. I did not at all realize the depth to the lyricism here. My brain is over here broken, literally living in empathy, just thinking about this. Eddie Vedder has spoken about how the audience's singing of I'm Still Alive during Pearl Jam performances has transformed the meaning of the song from a tale of a personal struggle to a celebration of survival. He noted that the collective singing, especially the powerful rendition of I'm Still Alive, felt like the audience lifting a curse from the song's original darker narrative. I friggin' love. Dude, the power of music is it's so cool, right? He writes a song about a really tense friggin' suck butt moment of life, like a real tough one to take to the chin, right? And then he gets to see people take that and help him process that himself. Like, when you think about it, it's easy to think of this song as always being like something you've known, especially if you're my age and you know, it's just always been around in your memory. Like, you can look back at a lot of your life and see that song is playing in some sort of background, even if you don't know what it is. And like to see that he was able to put out a song that really addressed some real heavy friggin' moments. And like a part of life that none of us, very few of us at any rate, can relate to in as many words. And almost like it almost feels like there's an acquiescence and like, oh, well, you know, your dad isn't really who you thought he was. And he was like dying when you were when you were turning 13, but like, you know, suck it up. You're still alive. Like, big deal. It almost feels like there is this just like, hey, you're fine. You're still alive. It's just that your dad is dead. I don't know. And maybe I'm making it a more crass thing. I don't know what that conversation was like. But to be given the freedom of acceptance by being able to rehash those emotions by singing that song and then seeing what it ended up meaning to people because of the power of music and artwork, right? You have this tremendous metamorphosis of the song where other people hear that and see a personal like victory within themselves, and they have the ability to look at their lives, look at the trials and tribulations that they've overcome and say, friggin' right, I am still alive. Like, that is awesome. And to see Eddie kind of get to take these things from one to the other, it's really cool. And again, I love the power of music story. I really do. To hear something like that is amazing. Alive is partly autobiographical and partly fictional. When Vedder was a teenager, his mother told him that his father was actually a stepfather and his biological father was dead. The first and last verses detailed those actual events, but the second verse is storytelling on Eddie Vedder's part. Well, I mean, that's cool. Incorporate your real life into fiction. That's totally fair. That's what makes Jack Kerouac such an interesting writer, in my opinion. You never quite know what's real, what's fact or fiction, but it's interesting, and that's what's so exciting about it. Most of it, ends up being true, but to think about being in that context and living through something like that and being able to have that life experience kind of overturned because you took something, a real earnest moment, a real honest heartbreak, a moment of your life, and you wrote about it and you created something, and that thing helped other people deal with their own thing, even if it was an unrelated thing. I don't know, man. Again, just the power of music. I know I've waxed poetic about this now for a little while. I'm sorry. But these are the kinds of things within music that I just live for, I'm really getting a much bigger appreciation for this band. I like that the lead solo is still going on behind the music here, or behind the lyrics. And now it's back to the forefront. And in the background, the rhythm, you've got this just real easy two-strike. Dun, 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 dun. The drums are actually really wonderful. I love the runs. The panning, though. A little free birdie, huh? I mean, honestly, I think the bass sounds are so nice. The drums are huge. That fill at the end, listen, the way he knocks it down. That was really nice. I think that Even Flow and Alive were songs that kind of white noise disappeared to me, and I always thought I knew the songs, but without listening critically, I only actually knew of the songs. And I'm learning. I think I'm kind of connecting the concept in my head that there is such a massive difference between knowing a song and knowing of a song, or knowing an artist versus knowing of an artist. When you have such massive bodies of work and so many artists have different branches of their artwork, a lot of artists are one-trick ponies, right? But a lot of artists aren't. And I think sometimes it's easy to hear one song of one band and think like, well, I don't like that song, so I clearly don't like that band. And if that was the case, there's like, what would Bob Dylan, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, like Fish, they're like the Grateful Dead. Like there are so many different things that you miss out on if you just hear one sound and think, well, like I don't like that, so that discredits the entirety of the band. with Even Flow and Alive, they weren't songs that I would really go out of my way to listen to because it was like, not really a time period of music I ever really found too much of an interest in. And I don't know if it's that like hard guitars meets like reverby warehouse sounding vocals, wearing flannel in the summer kind of music. I don't know. It never stood out to me. But I like so much of the stuff I like happened in the 90s. And so I don't know, like the alt rock scene isn't something I ever spent too much time in. But again, seeing what Pearl Jam did live was awesome. Kind of having the ability to look at the lyrical take of even just their singles changes the dynamic of the band for me. I mean, it really does. I mean, it really, really does. This next one is Why Go? Real loose bass sound there, huh? I'm so sick of me saying the words again. I need to get that out of my vocabulary. Every time I say again, type in the chat again, please and thank you. I need to break myself of that. The loose bass thing is super nice here. It does feel like she scratches a letter into a wall made of stone. Maybe someday another child won't feel as alone as she does. It's been 2 years and counting since they put her in this place. She's been diagnosed by some guy, and mommy agrees. It can't, like, if it's like you're not fixing what the actual problem is, you're blaming it on something else, and just for convenience sake, parents are going along with it. Gosh. I love this part. His voice here.
Why go home? Why go home? Why go home? Jesus.
Nice.
But what they want her to be is weak. She could play pretend. She could join the game, boy. She could be a narco.
Got it. So it's like if you disagree with the diagnosis, they put you away anyway, and then they let you out. Like, why bother going home? You know what I mean? Like, I kind of understand the angst to that, but tell me that this isn't angsty. Let's hear this guitar solo again. I'm being a douche. Really squealy.
Why
Does anybody have context on this song? The way he just like throws his voice down on that one, that why go home. He's got such a gnarly, massive, like raspy bear of a voice. It's unreal. Gotta run ads. Be back in 3 minutes, and then we will try to chunk out. We'll probably have at least one more batch of ads before the end. Be right back. All right, guys, let's get back into her. This is the song Black, and it looks like it is, the third biggest song on the album? Here we go. I don't know if I've heard it or not. It's not sounding familiar. I like the guitar tone shifts. Like, Aaron, this is going to be 2 parts. They primarily focus on these like guitar tone shift things where you have these really kind of low vibe, like clean tones, and then you have these really huge tones. And I like the way they mix those things. And that's primarily coming left ear. Bass. Okay, I think I've heard this one. Ooh. Is this about death?
Oh, 5 horizons revolved around the sun. To the sun. Now the air I tasted and breathed has taken a turn.
I feel like we're about to get lost in his rock and roll after he gives us the beat, boys, and we free his soul. But I besides that, I've got to say, this is so much more. I think when you hear how hard rocking they are, there's something in my brain that just says, like, these aren't introspective guys or something, or like I won't relate to the words because of how hard the music sounds, which isn't always the case, right? Like, and this is clearly a case of me not giving it a chance because of preconceived notions that were just wrong. And as I've listened to this album, as we've kind of gone through it, I mean, Eddie Vedder, or whoever is writing the lyrics, really is a poet. It looks like Stone and Eddie wrote this one based on the credits. But there's certainly a dreaminess, heavily imagery based, mixed in with this ethereal nature and kind of heartbreaking lyrics.
Lay spread out before me as her body was still.
Was Eddie doing the heroin?
Oh, 5 horizons revolved around her sun as the earth to the sun.
Love Lost.
Now the air I tasted and breathed has taken a turn.
Stone Gossard is what it says.
Oh, and all I taught her was everything.
The bass is so nice.
I know she gave me all that she wore.
Such such a tone shift in the guitar.
Shake beneath the clouds. Oh, what was everything?
See that part right there? Oh, what was everything? Like, I know I'm not trying to be disrespectful by it, but the way it shifts, the way the meter changes, the way the melody shifts.
And now my bitter hand shake beneath the clouds.
And we kind of have this descent.
All the pictures said, all been washed in black, tattooed everything. I'll take a walk outside. I'm surrounded by some kids that play. I can feel their laughter. So why do I say, and twisted thoughts that spin round my head. I'm spinning, oh, I'm spinning how quick the sun can drive away. Now my bitter hands cradle broken glass of what was everything. All the pictures said, all been washed in black, tattooed everything. All the love gone bad, turned my world to black, tattooed on I see, all that I am, all I'll be. Yeah. I know someday you'll have a beautiful life. I know you'll be a star in somebody
Wow.
else's sky. But why can it be? How can it be mine?
Wow, man. I know you'll have a beautiful life. I know you'll be a star in somebody else's sky, but why can't it be? Why can't it be mine? What a powerful punch in the face. And to your point, Crimson, Eddie became a meme, but I don't think it's necessarily fair. I think it's more just because people colloquially kind of dunk on his voice for the veterism kind of thing. I think his voice is markedly the most unique thing about Pearl Jam. I think that the lyrics are hugely better than I certainly was giving it credit for in my preconceived faulty notions. If there's something that I feel like is not unique, honestly, and I'm not saying this to dunk, I think it's maybe the guitar work. Like, it's not that the guitar work is bad. It's actually good for what it's doing. Like, and I feel like I'm gonna get dunked on this because I'm saying like the guitar work isn't particularly inspiring to me, but it's just that it's not particularly inspiring to me. I'm not gonna go as far as to call it derivative. Certainly not gonna do that, but falls into trope, I think, sometimes. But so much of that for me is coming from like looking back at what I've heard on the hits of this kind of genre, and it all kind of, I don't know, it again, I'm not sitting here trying to dunk on it because I don't think it's bad guitar playing. It's just not guitar playing that speaks to me, and that's really what I'm trying to say. It doesn't hit me as they're doing anything I haven't heard before. but the lyrics, the way Eddie is singing, the way that the music and the guitars back what Eddie does, all of it fits in really well. But again, just it's not like I'm hearing this guitar playing and being like, this guy has a chance to be one of the best ever. I haven't heard anything that hit me that way yet.
I don't know of anybody that sings like Eddie Vedder. Giving this a critical listen is such a different experience. But yeah, like heavy lyricism here, you know? That part was really good. That part, loved it. And there's no doubt. Again, when I heard them cover Love Reign O'er Me, I was like, this is the best the Who cover, period. Look it up. I think they did it on like a PBS concert or something, but look up I almost said The Cure. Look up Pearl Jam covering Love Reign O'er Me and watch it and be amazed. Come back later and be like, yo, Walt, you were right. Black, I'm not going to hit the plus button on because I don't know that I would really return to that one, but I will say it's tremendously deeper than I'd given it credit for. It's definitely not like... It's definitely not a 90s meme song. Listen to this real loose bass. This is Jeremy. W's in the chat for Chaotic Old Boar, by the way. The guy who saw his name on the back of an album that he bought after hearing a song that totally hit him. I love tidbits in music. My favorite part of any video I've ever made is reading the comments about people's tidbits of music, like where they were when they heard something, where the music brings them to, like the stories behind the songs of individuals' lives. Because I have about 1 billion of them that I could tell you about different songs in my life, and I could share beautiful stories or heartbreaking stories or funny ones or, you know, whatever. But I have those, right? They could be sentimental, they could be serious, they could be nonsensical, but I've got them. And I don't know. I think that there's something really special about getting to share those moments with other people. Like the moment of Boar going and actually, you know, getting the album and flipping it over and seeing his name after hearing a song. That's huge. Jeremy by Pearl Jam is a song inspired by a real life self-deletion of Jeremy Wade Dell, a 15-year-old who shot himself in front of his English class in 1991. The event was reported in a brief newspaper article, which Eddie Vedder transformed into a song with the aim of giving the tragedy more importance and reaction. The song is told from the perspective of a classmate and explores themes of isolation, bullying, and the consequences of unchecked violence. Jeez. It came from a small paragraph. Okay, yeah. So, golly goodness. This is a heavy one. I've definitely not heard it. But again, Geez, the subject matter really huge there. This bass sound, and is that like a polyphonic octave generator on a bass that I'm hearing right there? Or like chorus and reverb with harmonics on the bass? What is that note? What is that sound? 12-string bass. Got it.
Pictures of mountaintops with him on top. Lemon yellow sun, arms raised in a beam. The dead lay in pools of maroon below. Daddy didn't give attention, to the fact that mommy didn't care. King Jeremy the wicked, ruled his world. Jeremy spoken yesterday.
Wow. That's brutal imagery. So it's almost like, and the dead lay in pools of maroon below. So like we're watching it happen. And in this context, Jeremy being king is like he's controlling the room.
Clearly I remember picking on the boy.
And this is from the bully's perspective.
Little fuck. But we unleashed the lion. Gnashed his teeth and bit the recessed lady's breast. How could I forget? And he
Bro.
hit me with the surprise left. My jaw left hurting. Dropped wide open. Just like the day. Oh, like the day I heard.
Jeez.
Daddy didn't give affection, no. And the boy was something that mommy wouldn't wear. King Jeremy the wicked, ruled his world. Jeremy spoken yesterday.
That is gnarly, man.
Jeremy spoken yesterday. Jeremy
That's almost like kind of such an evil, daunting saying, you know, try to forget this. Like, you can't erase this memory. You're stuck with this. There's such an angst in this, man. Like, I'm sitting here, like, living in really, really heavy feelings. Like, thinking about how tough that would be just to live through something like that. And the music doesn't necessarily fit the same kind of vibe, but it almost feels like it's I don't know, like in my brain, like a movie scene, or like a news scene, or like a music video of a movie or of a news scene. I don't know. Like I'm listening to this and it's like really, really kind of just hitting me hard in the heart. I can't imagine what it would be like to live through something like this. And it really, really, really bothers me. And there is a contrast for sure in the way the music sounds to the subject matter. The video is not pretty. Ah, man. I don't know if the production has aged well. Might use a remaster. What do you mean by too well defined, Giz? Like the album representation isn't actually a good representation of the song? The story. Hard to get lost in his music. And yeah, I can see that. I think that that's also admittedly what you're talking about. There's an element of me that like I'm getting ready like soon enough, not as soon as I thought, but here pretty soon. Before too long, I'm going to be interviewing Tom Marshall, the lyricist for Fish, and I'm really, really, really excited about that. In our correspondence, I'm getting more and more excited. But I'm finding that as I'm kind of preparing the questions I want to ask him and the conversation I'd like to have with him, I don't want to talk too deeply about the why of a lot of the music because I want to retain some of that mystery, something that allows me to get lost in the songs that I'm curious about for years to come, knowing that, maybe I can always ask him if I really care to know, but maybe embracing the mystery is the better way to be. And sometimes I think if you write too literally, you run the risk of like, okay, well, I know that story. And, it doesn't leave a lot to return to. Now, admittedly, this particular song is just so huge. And to just say it so bluntly, Jeremy spoke in class today, and knowing what that song is written about, like, golly goodness, just brutal. Ugh. And this one is Oceans. Jeremy really was a tough swallow, dude. But it's like it's singing about things that are important. Like we need to be talking about these types of things in the public. And I'm glad that there was an art, like there are artists that are out there like calling attention to these things.
The currents will shift, glide me towards you. No, something's left, and we're all allowed to dream of the next. The next time we
I like the work on the toms. I like the kind of ad-libbing ooze. I'm not a huge fan of the guitar tone. It's a little bit too trebly and jangly for me. Too bridge pickup jangly for me.
have to stray the oceans away. Waves roll
The bass is easily nice. The editing on Eddie's voice here is weird. Very compressed. I don't think it's bad. Like, this part is really nice. I think it's important, though, even though there are remasters, I do find there to be some importance of listening to the album proper in the way that it was released. And I think a lot of that is just because of how relatable it ends up being to those that revisit the reactions for nostalgia purposes, right? Like, some people like to go back and hear a song and kind of relive what it was like to have that experience themselves for the first time. And I think it's made a little easier when you're not battling in your brain like, wait a minute, how come that sound ping-ponged? I thought it was all in mono. Those things, they're little, but they go a long way. Okay. Where was side B technically? Did side B start at Oceans? Is that technically where it would have started for record people? This is Porch. Whoa, those swells are nuts. Goes and goes and goes. Yeah, this is the song from the stage dive. All the bills blow by and initiatives are taken off by the middle. There ain't gonna be any middle anymore. And the cross I'm bearing home ain't indicative of my place. Left the boards, left the boards. Ocean starts side B. That's what I thought. It lacks a definite energy that it has when it's on stage. I do appreciate having the lyrics in front of me. I do appreciate getting to hear him kind of articulate a little bit clearer. But I gotta say, I'm missing the it factor that man has on stage. I'll take some guitar work there. Not my favorite lead tone, but not a bad one. I think this is cassette era and going into CD era. Or maybe it's all CDs at this point. I don't know. 94? I mean 91. He really ad-libs the yeah, yeah, yeahs a lot. I think not too many people do the yeah, yeah, yeahs better than Eddie Vedder, other than maybe the yeah, yeah, yeahs. This one's Garden. Love this intro tone. Love this intro tone. Oh, yeah. I love the atmosphere here. I love the reverbs on these guitars. There's a nervous, ethereal nature here. It's not prose at all. Like, he throws rhyming entirely. He really just writes the words he feels, and I like that. This is so much deeper than I had given credit. This feels like, I don't know, in my brain, I'm honestly seeing Chronicles of Narnia, just because, you know, I'm a dork and I like C.S. Lewis, but I don't quite know where this is. Is this an imaginative? Imaginative? Is this allegorical? What's our inspiration coming from?
After all is done, and we're still alone, I won't be taken. And I'll go.
This song has had my favorite guitar work so far, I think. Blood. Down, 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 down. Okay. The bass lines have kind of been MVP of the instrumental sections for me in this album. Is he switching pickups here to kind of create his own tremolo effect? There it is. It there. The way it's ending, and they board fade it. Dang, my favorite song on the album, and they board fade it. That's kind of a bummer. My favorite song on the album, and they board fade it. I've gotta say, right now, I just had the thought on this particular song that my friend in high school, JD, who loved Pearl Jam, he makes a bit more sense to me now. Thinking back on our time together, like hearing this album, he makes a bit more sense to me because like the Pearl Jam was all JD talked about. Deep. If for whatever reason JD from high school happens to be watching this video, just for whatever reason, if that happens, what's up, bro? I hope you are the best. I miss you, buddy. I think good thoughts about you, man. I like the tones here. Is this a heroin song?
On the edge, a windowsill. Ponder says maker. Ponder says well to the street below. He just ain't nothing, but he's got a great view, and he sings beat of the air.
Man, what a voice. I take it back. This has been my favorite of the guitar work. This particular has been my favorite of the guitar work for sure. The vocal thing here, I love it so much. So none of the band indulged they'd lost a friend to it, which was the genesis of Pearl Jam. I'm so glad to know that. So were they like, I know nothing about the guys in Pearl Jam. Were they like notarized partiers? Like, what do we know about them? Were they pretty clean dudes? Were they straight edge dudes? Not that it matters either which way, you know, because if the music is what speaks for them. I'm just curious. Did you hear that go from right to left ear or left to right ear at the
Edge of a Christmas clean love. Young virgin from heaven, visiting hell to the man above her. She just ain't nothing. She doesn't like the view. She doesn't like the view. She doesn't like the view. But he sinks himself deep.
Don't tell Whoopi Goldberg.
She doesn't like the view. She doesn't like the view. She doesn't like the view. But he sinks himself deep. Oh, can't touch the bottom. Into the deep end. Oh, can't touch the bottom. Can't touch the bottom. Deep end.
Okay, cool. I'm glad to know that. The guitar stuff here, they're definitely getting more experimental with things, but I think a lot of it's overdubbed, ad-lib kind of bombastics. Got it. Like, I want to know how they did that noise there at the end. I'm very interested in that. And we're leading into the song Release, which is like a 9-minute banger. So the longest song of the album. So far, this has been a mixed bag for me. Not my typical daily driver. Certainly not for rock and roll, but definitely way better than I had anticipated. I'm not even gonna lie. I really expected to not like this. And I'm not saying I was coming in. I really just thought I was going to feel the same way about it that I felt when I'd hear it on the radio in passing. And I'm very happy to say that that was not the case, because I feel like this would have been a much more daunting and not enjoyable process had that been the case. Sitting down, listening to it, seeing that, man, I was actually the douche this whole time, like misjudging them, has been nice. I love when that is the case. And to see that it's not that they're a one-trick pony, even if not all of their sounds are for me, to see that they're not a one-trick pony, they're actually tremendously deep and eloquent, and they're actually really good musicians, even if the sounds don't stand out to me the most. I like it. So Reprise is the last song. And apparently, I need to run an ad. So now is as good a time as any, I suppose. Give me a few. I'll see you in 3. Okay, guys, one more song on the album. The song is called Release. Let's hop back into it. What has been your favorite song on the album so far? I still think mine is probably Garden. I think it faded in, actually, at the end here. No, it didn't. Yep, first time hearing this one. You kind of heard him talking the mic there in the beginning. I like that they kept it in. I like the slide in bass, the build up here. You know me, I love a soundscape.
I see the world, feel the chill.
Like the world is cold.
Which way to go? Windowsill.
It almost feels like you're looking out the window on a cold day, being contemplative.
On a rocking horse of time. I see the birds and the
This is certainly my favorite sound on this album right now. I like how low and contemplative this is. I like just this feeling.
Can you see me now? I am myself, like you somehow. I'll ride the wave where it takes me. I'll hold the pain, release me.
Bro. This is far and wide my favorite song I've heard from them so far. Easily. Apart from maybe Just Breathe. But as a band, wow. The dynamics, man.
Can you see me now? I am
Pop.
myself,
You hear the bass pop?
like
Pop.
you somehow. I'll wait up in the dark for you to speak to me. I've opened up, release me.
Buddy. This is so nice.
Release me. Release me. Release me.
This is really sticking the landing for this album, dude. This really stuck the landing. And this whole ad-lib part, I would love to see this one performed live. There's just a sound of surrender in this, you know? Almost to finally being willing or ready to let go, but, you know, needing help with it. Fades down to nothing, huh? There's no way there's a blank 4 minutes on the song, is there? The secret track. Got it. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh, wow. I love that swell. Very bombastic here. Kind of creating a soundscape here, like a sort of tense one. I feel like I heard this in a DMT trip once. The swells, this like sustained sound is really cool. The polyrhythms happening right now at the end as well, also super, super nice. What is that? Like the Donkey Kong noise. What is that noise? Sounds like we're blowing into wooden cylinders. Is the hidden track just instrumental? Was this on the album proper? The ambience from the intro, chicken or the egg. I like it. Okay. I feel like Sum 41 was the first band I ever knew of with the hidden track with their song Pain for Pleasure. And I'm gonna let it do repeat so I can hear the transition happen from end of the album to the beginning of the album. Oh. I definitely had it laid out to transition, so I guess Spotify was just not cool with it. It's like they have it to where there's a whole bunch of blank time in the front of the album there. Either way, that was 10 by Pearl Jam. That was certainly not what I expected it to be. I really thought it was going to be kind of a cheesy album, and I thought that because of the context I've seen the music used before. Like when I think about 90s media, when I think about like it's great times, like great memories, like it is they are the memories of my childhood, not my teenage years, but my childhood. And I think when I hear a lot of this, I don't know. I maybe the best way I can put it is until I conscientiously decided I was going to give music as a shot and try to drop my preconceived notions. I guess the best way I could put it would be I would look at the world from the view I have today and consider like and judge that music the same way I would judge like the cheesy clothing of any particular time period. Well, why would I listen to disco? Look at their clothes, right? Why would I listen to 80s new wave? Like look at their clothes. Why would I listen to like the Aquabats? Look at their clothes. Whatever, right? But that's clearly not done me any favors in the past. Like by considering I shouldn't listen to an artist based on like the way they dressed at the time. And that's really dumb. And again, I'm just admitting my short-sightedness as honestly as I can. And since I have been digging into artists in different time periods and realizing like, wow, it's not any bit what my preconceived notion was, I've really gained a great respect. This is not music that would just be daily driver music for me, but I absolutely found a lot out of the song release. I absolutely loved Garden. This band is bigger than their hits, but man, don't their hits wail, especially with lyrical context. I'm actually really a big fan. Not of everything I heard, but I'm a big fan of what it was that I did hear. While it wasn't my favorite music, it was good music. So yeah, there's my thoughts on those. W's in the chat for Chaotic Old Boar for sharing a deeply personal album with us. And again, for giving us kind of that moment of his life where he saw the name Jeremy on the back of an album and felt a connection to music because of that. I think it's really cool when you see the power of music played out in other people's lives. And dude, thank you for sharing it. Even in the context of just getting to share it with people that like also like it, even in the context of like getting to help me branch out in my musical discovery journey. And like, again, you've been here for years, man. I think it's only fair that we listen to each other's music at this point, like buddies that would share music in a basement. This stream has really been the stream of friends that would listen to music together in the basement, and darn it all if that's just not my favorite thing to do. Listen to music with good people. This was the quintess, like this was a perfect example, I think, of what goes down here. And I love that. Guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.